John came through from the dining room carrying some dirty plates and cutlery on a large tray.
Did you call me, Ross?
Aye, I did. None of this tallies with the till receipts.
Are you sure?
Ross quickly added up the cash again. It's definitely out. By how much? 50. Pence or quid? £50, I'm afraid. How do we account for it, eh? Where's your Uncle Edwin at this moment in time? Here, Ross, I hope you're not suggesting. I don't know what I'm suggesting, but just you think about it some, eh? Being pension day, Thursdays were obviously a busy time for Carrie and Arnold at the post office. Carrie often wished that the public would be good enough to spread their requirements over several days, rather than pounce all at once. Today being Friday, she was hard-pressed for someone to talk to, until her sister Betty Barrett popped in.
Do you know, Betty, we've hardly had a dozen people through that door this morning. We ought to think ourselves lucky that the shop's open at all, though. I mean, lots of villages are losing theirs every day. Mind you, that reporter must have done some good, because if folk didn't know this shop was here before reading this week's Gazette, they certainly do now. Ah, 'twas a good write-up, wasn't it? Now, is that all you want, Betty? Yes, thanks. I got a bottle of bleach under my arm as well, and I didn't want to put that in with me food. Right.
Carrie totted up her sister's goods on the small computerised cash register, which gave a series of bleeping sounds as it totalled up Betty's bill. The cost was £16.20, which Betty paid for with a £20 note. As Carrie handed her the difference in change, Betty began a little gossip-mongering.
I hear that young reporter's moving to the village, then. Yeah, he's got the flat next to Brenda Cook above the bakery. Now, what's the betting there's something going on between he and her? Now, that's how rumours starts, our Carrie. Might be nothing of the sort.
Carrie gave her sister a one-eyed look, as she watched her load all of her goods from the basket to her shopping bag and place her purse unwisely into her coat pocket.
Talking of places closing down, I see that Alec's factory might be getting rid of a few people then. Do you reckon they're going to close? I sincerely hope not. Alec ain't been at all well this week, and Carol thinks he's fretting over it. 'Tis like I said to Arnold, stress is the cause of 50% of mental illness, nervous breakdowns and suicides. Do you know summat? You and our Ivy have got summat in common. You both wallows in thoughts of doom and misery.
Alec couldn't have felt worse if he'd wanted to. There was no let-up in his stomach condition. The codeine phosphate tablets didn't appear to be easing his gastroenteritis, and his visits to the bathroom weren't easing either. He strongly doubted that he'd be able to risk going down to the factory for his meeting with Vaesen, but at the back of his mind common sense was telling him that he'd have to go. Carol sat on the edge of the bed.
This bout of gastroenteritis seems to be lingering on rather a long time, Alec. Don't you think you ought to go back to the doctor again?
Let's give it till next week, Carol.
Well, perhaps after your meeting with Vaesen this afternoon you'll feel a lot better, eh?
Perhaps. He said it, but he didn't really believe it. He kept rubbing his stomach under the bedclothes. Carol was beginning to doubt whether his problem was just work worries. She'd seen him stressed up before, but certainly not to this degree.
Shall I make you something for lunch?
No thanks, love. I really don't feel like it. I'm absolutely raw.
You can't go hungry, Alec. You'll need something inside you for this meeting later on.
Oh, yeah. I could just imagine it, eh? There's the boss telling me something really important and I got to ask him to save it for 10 minutes while I pay a visit. Carol smiled. She thought it was an attempt at him being funny, or maybe he was perfectly serious. At that moment, he threw back the bedclothes and dashed to the bathroom again. While Ross was helping the chef in the kitchen at the Boar's Head, John took the opportunity of having a serious word with his uncle. Edwin had just returned from town and alighted the bus just outside the Boar's Head. He came into the front bar and was just about to perch himself onto his favourite stool when John came through from the back and grabbed him by the arm.
Oi, what you doing?
Come here, you. You're coming out the back. I want a quick word while the pub's quiet.
Here, you're bruising me arm, boy.
And that ain't all that's going to get bruised if you ain't more careful.
What am I supposed to have done?
Oh, that's rich, that is. You said that as though butter wouldn't melt in your mouth. John closed the door to the bar, ensuring that the couple sat in the corner by the fireplace wouldn't catch any of the conversation. Have you got something you want to confess to?
Now, I've done all my confessing already. I told you my reasons for being here the other morning, and I also admitted to having a look in your cellar, didn't I? What am I supposed to have done this time, then?
If I whispered 50 quid in your ear hole, Uncle dear, what would you say?
Oh, tar very much. But what would I have to do to earn it, and when could I have it?
You sure you ain't already had it, Uncle Edwin?
Yeah, what are you insinuating?
Ross Finlay's got his eye on you, 'cause when he totted the takings from the till, it was down by 50 quid. He reckons you know something about it.
What bleeding jockstrap?
Look, why don't you confess to me you've had it? I'll smooth it with Ross and we'll say no more about it, but you must promise to return it when you got it. And I suppose you've been in town spending it, ain't you?
I ain't admitting nothing I ain't guilty of, so shove it. I don't know who's had your 15 icker, but it ain't me. Get it?
Alec slowly dressed himself. His stomach felt dreadful and he knew that his condition was not improving. Another trip to the doctor was inevitable and he'd have to try and get in on a cancellation. He looked at himself in the full-length mirror of Carol's wardrobe and straightened his tie. He smoothed his hair and stared into the reflection of his tired eyes. He'd have to pay another visit before leaving the house. His meeting with Vaesen was at 3 o'clock. The factory was a large modern building on the outskirts of Acrebury. The modern housing estate and the White Horse pub stood opposite. Farm machinery ranging from combine harvesters and balers to field spraying machines stood in the yard to one side of the main building. Inside, the large workshops housed thousands of pounds worth of machinery in various stages of manufacturing operation. There was a welding shop and at the very back the distribution warehouse, from where Alec usually loaded up his lorry and drove away to various parts of the country and sometimes to the continent. Alec locked the car door and fortunately didn't feel too bad stomach-wise. He headed for reception. They directed him upstairs to the administration section and Vaesen's secretary sat him outside the big man's office. Eventually he came out.
Alec, come on in. How you feeling? Any better?
Well, hello, Si. I'm not sure, really. It seems to be lingering on. I'll have to go back and see my doctor, I think. Vaesen closed his office door behind Alec and pointed to the plush chair reserved for important guests. Alec sat himself down. Vaesen offered him a cigar. No thanks, I don't.
You don't mind if I...
Oh, no. This was a lie. Alec detested smoking of any kind, including pipes. But you don't protest to the boss.
Gastroenteritis, eh? Sounds painful.
Yeah, it is.
Well, at least you'll have plenty of time to recuperate.
What do you mean, plenty of time?
Look, Alec, you know me. I'm not the kind of guy who beats about the bush. You know the situation in the economic world today. This company has to make cuts, and much as it hurts me to have to do this...
Hang on. Are you telling me I'm out of a job?
If only there was some other way, but yes, you and 6 others. There's nothing I can do, if only there was. You'll have a handshake, such as it is, and your employment will cease on May 6th. Until then, you take some sick leave. Alec, you look as though you're gonna need it.